What's Mangalore without hitting the beach? We are here to give you pan-Karnataka perspective on how the election looks like in this state, and right now giving us a perspective from coastal Karnataka is T.S. Sudhir with me. So what is the mood like?
First of all, let's inform the viewers that what you see behind completely white, that's actually the beach, but because of the harsh sunlight you can't really make out. So let's actually move this side to get a slightly better idea of the beach sand as it were. But as Pratibha was mentioning, traveling through different parts of Karnataka, we are now in Dakshin Kannada district in Mangaluru, and this is the Mangaluru beach. The mood before the elections, let's say about 9 to 10 days to go before the elections, extremely muted at this point in time. People perhaps have not made up their mind, or at least are not spelling it out. They are carefully listening to what the different political leaders have to say. Prime Minister Modi was in Udupi on Tuesday. He would be touring different parts of the state, starting with Bengaluru and different other parts in Mysuru, in Ballari, and also in the Mumbai Karnataka region. So that's something which the people would be listening to. Of course, the Congress leaders have also been touring the state. But yes, as far as Mangaluru is concerned, I found, Pratibha, coastal Karnataka to be rather different from the other parts of the state in terms of what the issues are. This is a rather communal melting pot in that sense, in the sense that despite high literacy of above 95%, what we found is that people do vote, do think on communal lines, and that's quite different from the rest of Karnataka, and that's what probably would give the BJP some kind of an edge here in the coastal districts of Karnataka.
Well, in fact, from an outside world, when you look at Mangalore, you always think about the Mangalore pub attack, you think about the moral policing. In fact, I did go and speak to a couple of students who were actually telling me that they are first-time voters and they are super scared about, moving with Muslim friends. Is that the sense, and how are political parties really looking at it?
Well, yes, that seems to be the sense from many of the youngsters. I must point out that I found the youngsters, the first-time voters, people in their 20, 21, 22, pretty well informed about what the issues are. In fact, some of the engineering students who we met yesterday pointing out that so-and-so MP has not done good work, so-and-so MLA has done good work. So in that sense, pretty informed at that age, which I thought was a good sign, a positive sign for Indian democracy, that before going out to vote on the 12th of May, they would be making what I would call an informed choice. But yes, there is a lot of fear element, there is the apprehension. 2009 may seem a long way back, but the case, the Pramod Mutalik and the entire group was acquitted recently by a court. Pramod Mutalik, who we met recently in Dharwad, pointing out that he doesn't want to talk about it, he doesn't want anyone to talk about it, but he believes that a message of some kind had to be sent to the people at large. But that one incident which took place in January 2009 seems to have left some kind of a mark on the brand equity of Mangaluru, so to say, and that seems to kind of recur every few years. Because if you just recall what the Vishwa Hindu Parishad person, the Bajrang Dal person, had to say,
विश्व हिंदू परिषद बजरंग दल ये चुनाव में हिंदू सिर्फ हिंदू जीतने का है.
They are essentially trying to protect the Hindu society, and that's what these kind of messages have to be sent, because they believe that in the name of love jihad, many of the Hindu girls are lured by Muslim boys. They believe that Hindu society has been under attack under the present Siddaramaiah government, and therefore the entire narrative that we are seeing playing out on the political field is that every Hindu should vote for the BJP, or at least a Hindu candidate. That's really the campaign slogan of the BJP, which we are also seeing on social media here in the Dakshin Kannada district, and that's also because of the kind of politics that we have seen between the Popular Front of India's political arm, the SDPI, and the Congress.
Since you did mention SDPI, I'm sure there is some kind of a tacit understanding between the Congress and the SDPI, and how is that playing out? Is it like advantage BJP, disadvantage BJP?
Well, that's something which is very peculiar to both Uttar Kannada and Dakshin Kannada district. Now, in Dakshin Kannada district, the SDPI had fielded 7 candidates last time in 2013. They got some 24,000, 25,000 odd votes. But this time, though they had announced that they would be contesting in about 8 constituencies throughout Karnataka, they decided not to, and at the moment they are fielding candidates only in 3 places in Karnataka. One of them in the old Mysuru region, one of them in Gulbarga, and the third one, I forget which one was the third one. So they are contesting in only 3, but what is more significant is that in their stronghold of coastal Karnataka, they are not fielding any candidates. And when we met the SDPI General Secretary Mohammad Iqbal here, he said that has been a strategic reason. they do not want the Muslim votes to be split. In fact, J.R. Lobo, the sitting MLA from Mangalore of the Congress, and also who is the candidate from Mangalore this time, making it very clear. In fact, he came out very openly to say that we managed to convince the SDPI that they should not put up any candidate. So in that sense, making it very clear and actually proving what the BJP was saying was always right, that there is some kind of a tie-up between the SDPI and the Congress. Now, what this has led to is that the BJP has been able to say that, look, what we said was always right. The SDPI is trying to help the Congress net the Muslim votes, and thereby it is able to push the Congress firmly into the Muslim camp and saying to the Hindu voter, vote for us because we are the ones who are going to protect your Hindu interests.
Congress ಮತ್ತು SDPI ಮೊನ್ನೆವರೆಗೆ ಹೋರಾಟಗಳನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿದರು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಾಳಗಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಆದರೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಳ ಒಪ್ಪಂದಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಂಬಂಧಗಳನ್ನು ಸುಧಾರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ವಾಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
But Sudhir, is that perhaps why, that many of the people here in Mangalore feel that, they need somebody, a candidate who is completely broad-minded? So I'm sure where this is coming from, probably because of the campaign strategies adopted by many of these political parties on strong communal lines.
ಈಗ BJP ಅವರೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಅವರೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಈವನ್ JDS ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಅವರು ನ್ಯಾರೋ ಮೈಂಡೆಡನ್ನು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಅವರವರ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಜನರು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥ ಮೈಂಡನ್ನು ಅವರು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು.
Well, broad-minded is a term which we are hearing quite often, especially from young voters. They do not want to be in a city like Mangaluru or in any of the other small towns in Dakshin Kannada district where they would feel scared to go out to a cafe with a male or a female friend, especially if he or she belongs to the other community. They would want the political class not to encourage lumpen groups which would indulge in any kind of moral policing, be it from either community. They would want to feel safe and secure when they go out in the evening, even if it is after dusk. So that's the kind of atmosphere they would want to be encouraged in Mangaluru, and they feel that at this point in time that's not the situation in Mangaluru. So their vote will essentially depend on the candidate. If they feel, not the party, if they feel the candidate is a person who is broad-minded to encourage that kind of a civil society, that's what the vote of the first time voter is going to go. And I think that's a very, very positive sign, great maturity being shown, at least in the manner of speaking, by many of these young voters.
Right. Now that the 10-day tour comes to an end, overall, to sum it up, what will be your last message?
Not for me to give a message, but I feel there is anti-incumbency against many of the sitting MLAs, and that would be a point of concern, especially for the Congress party. But what I also found was that there was no major anti-incumbency against the government as such. On the whole, the image of the government is not so bad, though there are complaints against specific complaints against many sitting MLAs that they have not done enough, or what they did was not really for the development of their constituency. Is there a wave in this election? I don't think so. I didn't find a wave in this election. There is no surge for either the BJP, which would fancy its chances to come to power, or for the Congress. At the Udupi rally, Prime Minister Modi making an overture to Devegowda, which we also discussed in the Facebook Live from Mangaluru. Now, what does it indicate? Does it indicate some kind of a message that the BJP is not confident about coming to power on its own? And there, I think the arithmetic is very important, because if you just break up the constituencies region-wise, the BJP and the Congress are locked in a direct contest in only about 160 odd seats. The other 60 odd seats, it's the Congress versus the JDS. And therefore, for the BJP to come to power on its own, acquire a simple majority on its own, it would need a strike rate, I would say a rather generous strike rate of over 70% to get 113 out of those 160 odd seats. Is that possible? I don't know. I don't see it happening in the manner that there is no major wave in favor of the BJP. How Mr. Modi manages to turn it around for the BJP, we'll have to see over the next 1 week. But at this point in time, it doesn't look like happening. Things could, of course, change in the last 1 week before the elections. As far as the JDS is concerned, it is hoping to be the kingmaker, but I see the JDS strength only really in the Old Mysuru region. Beyond Old Mysuru region, you would have noticed whenever we were speaking to people, the JDS is not really a political force to reckon with, and that's what most people say. Coastal Karnataka, absolutely zero. Mumbai, Karnataka, just in pockets, and that also depending on who the candidate is. Hyderabad, Karnataka region, yes, the JDS may manage to pick up a few seats. Central Karnataka, so essentially all their seats would have to come from the Old Mysuru region. That definitely will not be enough to kind of definitely not be able to form the government on their own, but whether they will be able to cross that mark of 40, critical mark of 40, and then hope that both the Congress and the BJP also fall short, so that they will have to depend on Deve Gowda. The BJP has made its first move by making that overture to Deve Gowda. So should the BJP fall short, they could actually have Mr. H.D. Deve Gowda and H.D. Kumaraswamy on speed dial.
But before we wrap, Deve Gowda kind of double standards that is actually reflecting here, because a day before he says that if news is true that H.D. Kumaraswamy did meet Amit Shah, that he would disown his son. But the very next day, after Modi making an open appeal to Deve Gowda, what has been seen as so, do you feel that Deve Gowda is kind of going back and forth because he has also welcomed this decision?
Well, I think the Janata Dal politics has always been of creating some kind of confusion. They would want people to be confused. They would want people to pick up a regional force that would represent Karnataka interest. And I think therein also there was this interesting fact that, Siddaramaiah for the last many months has been playing the Karnataka regional identity card. And the BJP, especially Mr. Yedurappa, the Chief Minister's face, has not been able to effectively refute it or effectively, counter it, the Congress card. Perhaps that's Mr. Modi's way of using Mr. Deve Gowda, who is easily the tallest Kannadiga living politician so far in Karnataka. So in that sense, maybe he's using Mr. Deve Gowda's stature to counter the Congress strategy which Siddaramaiah is espousing. So a lot of different kinds of narratives being actually at play makes this election extremely fascinating to watch. But as I said, I think the last word has not been said. A lot could happen in the last 1 week before the elections, how Mr. Modi's narrative plays out, what does he say in the remaining 4 days that he would be coming to Karnataka, how the Congress counters it. The Congress has been pretty, especially Mr. Siddaramaiah, is not waiting for Congress spokesperson to actually counter-attack. He's doing the counter-attack himself on Twitter, which is quite something for a politician of his age. Whoever is handling his Twitter account seems to be doing a rather good job of it, laced with a lot of humor. So I think the last 1 week, a lot of pinch hitting is what we will see, but from both the BJP and the Congress. And I think that's when the voter will finally decide who to go for. But as we have been finding out, both Pratibha and me, that it's the local issues which are really mattering. It's not the Hindutva card or any other pan-India issue. A Rafale deal is not really going to decide who the voter votes for. The communal issue may decide some votes here in coastal. In other parts of Karnataka, pretty much a case of, roti, kapda, makan, and of course mobile connectivity. That seems to be a big issue in many parts of Karnataka, especially in Mumbai, Karnataka region. So local issues, a state election, and national leaders coming in at the last leg of the campaign to campaign for their respective parties. But definitely, this Karnataka election has been one fascinating election. It has been a fascinating tour, and this will be one election to really watch out for.
Thank you so much, Sudhir. And in fact, it's really burning hot right now. Before we get dehydrated, let's actually wind up. Thank you so much for watching. This is Pratibha Raman with Sudhir on Karnataka Trail in this election state. Stay tuned.